stories, and you've heard some, and I'm sure you'll hear many more, but the first 5 years really do impact a lifetime, and we really strongly encourage you to continue to let First 5 receive these funds.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Johanna Burlingham. I come from Moore Park, California, and I am privileged to be able to use the First 5 funded center called the Moore Park Simi Valley Neighborhood for Learning. I'm going to give you a little bit of a tale as to how I got to know First 5. I come here as a parent. I come here as a volunteer. I come here as a fundraiser. I see this from many different angles. 10 years ago, I got married, and I expected to have a career. I moved to New York City. I had all these dreams. A year later, I found out that I had a little surprise on the way. Wasn't ready. There wasn't a book to tell me exactly what to do with every step of the direction that I was going to be going in. But what I found out is that when I asked for help, the doctors didn't give me anything other than, oh, they'll grow out of it, or, you know, we'll talk about it next time you come back. Well, in New York City, I expected better. I moved to Texas only to find out that it was even worse. At that point, we found out that my daughter had a rare orthopedic condition. She had speech issues, and I was told that she could be put into Head Start, but they didn't want me to work. I wasn't going to be able to have services for my daughter if I was working. My husband and I were devastated because then it started to affect the economic stability of our home. We ended up finding our way out to California 2 years later, only to find out that she had a host of learning disabilities. All these things were missed by the New York system and the Texas system, even though we had great doctors. There wasn't a place that looked at the whole child and the whole family. When we came here at age 4 with my daughter, she was able to get a scholarship to go to a high-quality preschool where they were able to do intervention to find out really what she needed. I was fortunate enough to get very involved, and by the time my son came along, he was able to get services even before being born. He had a rare heart condition, and now we found out that he's got a host of issues with speech delays as well. But now he has a home. He has a system in place. He is age 2. He just got a scholarship awarded last night so he can continue in a preschool program that we can't simply afford. In our 10 years of marriage, we have not been able to move past the paycheck to paycheck living. Our medical bills.
Conclude, please.
Yeah, our medical bills exceed what my husband makes in a year. I strongly suggest you realize that this affects families that you wouldn't expect. Many things happen in a home, and First 5 is there for the first 5 years, and that's most important. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Claudia Beltran. My son's name is Douglas. I represent family who participate in Family Leaders Program at California Medical Center, Hope Street Family Center. I study English as a second language. I have participated in the Family Leaders Program with my son Douglas for a little over 3 years. I want to share with you how this program has made a remarkable difference in my life, in the life of my son. It was through this program that he was identified as having special needs. The program helped me identify that my son had autism. They assisted me in getting the community resources I need to help Douglas succeed, and I learned effective parenting skills. Most importantly, they helped our family by serving our son in full inclusion classrooms. This was important for my son's overall development and self-esteem, as well as mine and my husband's. Learning English has allowed me to better communicate with my son's doctors, teachers, and become a better advocate for my son's special needs. This program has given me the parenting education tools I need to understand and support my child. Raising a child with special needs is a blessing, but it can also be challenging. At times, it has been wonderful to count on the support of the Family Leadership Program staff, as well as the mothers I have met through the program. This program is essential not only for me, but for the many other families served who have children with a special need. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming today. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. My name is Judy Ramos. I'm the Family Literacy Coordinator at California Hospital Medical Center, Hope Street Family Center. Over the past years, I have seen the lives of families change for better because of their involvement in the Family Literacy Program. Historically, our population has included at least 30% of children with special needs, currently 41%. These are children ranging from developmental delays, hearing impairment, mental retardation, orthopedic impairment, speech and language delays, and autism. Some of the children with speech and language delays also have other health conditions, such as seizure disorder, asthma, cleft palate, etc. You might wonder, why would a hospital partner with First 5 LA to offer a family literacy program? And the reason is clear. California Hospital Medical Center and Catholic Healthcare West are committed to improving the health of individuals in our community by preparing children for success in school and providing literacy training for parents. Literacy does make a difference in an individual's ability to understand and comply with medical appointments and medication, as well as it promotes economic self-sufficiency, both of which contribute to an individual's overall health and well-being. In addition, the combination of adult education, parenting education, and early childhood education are significant in reducing the risk factors for child abuse and neglect. With the support of First 5 LA funds, we have been able to offer comprehensive family literacy services to families who meet federal income guidelines, have literacy needs, and who have young children, many of which have health and special needs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and committee members. My name is Liz Guerra, and I am with the Los Angeles County Office of Education. I'm here to talk today about the collaboration between the LA County Office of Ed and First 5 on the merits of their family literacy initiative. Over the last 7 years, LACO, as we call it, has been a collaborative partner with First 5 LA to promote a holistic family education approach to learning that supports adult and early childhood education and the enhancement of parenting skills. An increasing body of research suggests that the behavior and attitudes of how parents raise their children may be even more important than the parent's occupation, income, or educational levels. Therefore, based on this growing research, the family literacy model that we use is based on the belief that the parent is the child's first and most important teacher. We in family literacy believe that we get a greater return on the investment of time and resources now and in the future if we work directly with both the parent and the child. After all, a child at birth doesn't come with instructions on their big toe or doesn't show up at the school door all by themselves. Family education is definitely what we call a twofer, with value-added benefits that impact the whole family, spouses, siblings, and the community. The First 5 LA Family Literacy Program model focuses on the student achievement of both the parent and the child, and it strengthens parent involvement and supports meeting their family goals such as school readiness, enrollment in higher education, or continued education, and or even job training. Over the last 5 years, the First 5 LA Family Literacy Initiative, and just this one project, served over 1,900 parents and 2,300 children throughout the county. As reported by the project's external evaluation, and I brought you a copy here, the outcomes have been significant in acquiring English language skills and helping children move toward the national norm average, which in Los Angeles County is very significant. Briefly, take Martin, for example, who attends Elizabeth Learning Center in Cudahy. On a given day, Martin attends a preschool class and learns about colors, numbers, problem solving, while his mom Ophelia attends 4 hours of adult literacy and parenting ed. As the morning comes to an end, Martin joins his mom in the classroom. Mom is gently guided by the teacher on reading strategies to use with Marvin while reading together. The teacher urges Mom to use open-ended questions while reading to her child. As Mom and Martin go home, and throughout dinner with the family, Martin chats about the day's events, how they learned that blue and yellow make green, and how his friend Alex solved a puzzle together.
Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to conclude, please.
First 5 LA is a proponent and a facilitator of collaboration and leveraging resources in support of breaking down silos to support enhanced outcomes for families and community. We at the LA County Office of Ed value their commitment to providing options for children in our county. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And if we could please keep our comments to about 2 minutes, that would be great.
I promise. Good evening. My name is Kevin Leto. I live in West Sacramento. I have a young family with 2 children, ages 2 and 4. I find myself here because my 4-year-old is enrolled in the Universal Preschool for West Sac program that is funded with First 5. And I've listened through this entire proceeding far more than I thought I was going to hear about people and the things that are being impacted potentially with what the budget recommendations have been submitted. So I've been challenged in 2 minutes or less to give you some wisdom as to what to do. So if I was treating you like a coworker and I was a manager, which I am, I would give you these actions. Leave Prop 10 alone. We voted on it because we wanted it, because we decided in 1998 we weren't doing enough. That hasn't changed. We've already defended it with Prop 1D. Fix the core services the way that they need to be. We don't want to support our children on the backs of people that are needy, that need assistance. Don't raise my taxes, because if you raise my taxes anymore, I'm probably going to follow suit with the rest of my family that's moved out of state to be able to maintain the quality of life with my family. And I would recommend that you pursue some pro-business tactics, because what you really have is a revenue problem. And if you can't get it out of the taxpayer that lives here, you need to attract some new ones that have money that can contribute some high-paying jobs to the tax revenue. Thank you.
Thank you.
What do you think Prop 10 is funded with if it's not taxes?
What was that again?
So what do you think Prop 10 is funded with if it's not the first 5 is funded with if it's not taxes?
It is taxes, but it's taxes that exist on a declining basis. Tobacco revenue is something that I guarantee is going to go down. You don't want to use a tax base like that to fund core programs. It's ridiculous.
Commissioner Standy.
Yeah, I think his point is we're using that money to backfill cuts we're not doing. So he's saying we're using that as general fund money. So don't raise the taxes to close that hole. Just to clarify.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Tammy DeHessa. I'm a foster parent from San Bernardino County. I was hoping that you'd kind of humor me for a moment and that you would imagine opening your heart and your home to a foster child. And then I was hoping again that you could imagine being handed a child that has microcephaly, fetal alcohol syndrome, and failure to thrive. This baby couldn't suck, swallow, or breathe. Last, imagine trying to care for that child without First 5 funded programs. It's impossible. It's the only way that I can stay being a foster parent. Removal of this program, of First 5, or even redirection, would make it literally impossible for people to foster parent. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Jose de Villa. My lovely wife and myself drove like about 8 hours from Fontana and San Bernardino County and waited right here like about 4 hours to give you a very, very important message from all the families and the kids from San Bernardino County. Please strongly urge you to reject this proposal to divert these funds. They're really needed. No other program on the whole state really takes care of the needs that our kids have on our houses. And my personal experience, I have 3 kids, Adrian, Cesar, and Isaac. The youngest one was misdiagnosed by the HMO provider who only work for money. They don't really care anything about our kids or anybody else. And it was diagnosed by autism. And based on our lucky days came out when my wife actually was in touch by the First 5 San Bernardino, and he was re-diagnosed again, and he only had speech delay. Up to this point, he's been helped, and he's just doing wonderful. The only thing I can share with you today is the good things that ever happened to my family and to himself, and I don't want to imagine what it costs taking these funds out. And I just want to point out to you, this right here, it says that you want to divert this to high priority. Let me tell you one thing, and it comes from my heart. There is no higher priority on my life than my kids, the well-being of my kids. And I hope that one day you will see these things and these changes, positive changes that the kids are making as they grow up, because one day I just hope that all our kids fill all those chairs right there when you are seated right now, and not only there, in Washington as well, so they can really do this better and the way. And I know you guys are have a heart, and you will do the right thing. I also, the last thing, if you can divert 99 cents to put a time right here so that I know exactly whether 2 minutes are up. Thank you.
Thank you. That'll be next week. Tomorrow we'll do that.
Good evening. I'm Judy Darnell, and I'm the Director of Public Policy for United Ways of California. I'm here representing the 37 local United Ways across California, and to speak in very, very strong terms and strong opposition against this proposal to cut what we view are core services and critical programs that are funding the needs and services for children and families across the state. I echo the gentleman before me in saying that, someone referred to we need to shift these funds for high priority programs. There are no programs that are higher priority. We are funding critical health and education programs with the first 5, and I think that you understand and I certainly appreciate the difficult decision the committee and the assembly has to make, but also realize that you probably realize what a poor fiscal decision this is to take money away from core programs to try to backfill core programs. So the voters have spoken, and I please ask you to reject this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And if anyone would like to just say, I want to echo what the previous speaker said, that's not a bad idea tonight.
I'll keep it brief. My name is Kristen Thompson. I'm here representing the Children's Defense Fund, along with the 100% campaign, and we stand with our partners at United Way, California Children's Health Initiatives, along with First 5, of course, in strongly opposing the governor's proposal to take essential funding from our state's most vulnerable population, our children. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
I'm Kelly Pyle. I'm the Assistant Director for the Children and Families Commission of Orange County, which is also known as First 5 throughout the state. I do echo what everybody said, and I want to add that in Orange County, the diversion of funds will eliminate 700 jobs just in Orange County that are high jobs, registered nurses, pediatricians, home visitors. So please consider that when you are looking at diverting these funds. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
My name is Elizabeth Stewart, and I'm here from Contra Costa County. I'm representing the First 5 Center there and the hand-to-hand program. The programs there are basically for the inner-city young single moms and families. And with these programs, we're able to break chains that, have been for years and years. And the chains can, further the future of our children in our cities and in our nations. In our lives, it's to educate. We'd rather build schools than to build jails. And with these programs that they have, we're already on the way to doing that. And to remove these programs could be detrimental to our future. So Prop 10 has already been voted in, so I don't know why anyone would try and change that. These programs are a gift, and what better gift to receive than the gift of knowledge? And that's what these programs do for us and for our children, our families. So I would beg of all of you to, think more than twice before you want to take them away from us. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Kanea. I'm from Richmond, California. This is my first time being here. I'm nervous, so bear with me.
It's okay.
I have
relax. We're nervous too.
I have a 7-month-old, and I'm here on behalf of the First 5 Center, as well as the hand-to-hand collaboration. The First 5 Center helps me actually in a positive way. The program helps me interact with my child a lot mentally and physically. It really helps me spend time with my child, teaching him and different concepts through his months and years of growing up and developing into a wonderful young man. It helps me strengthen my understanding as well to be and become a good mother to my child as well. I believe cutting this program would not encourage me to have more interaction with my son. This program actually encourages me because it has activities for me and my child, something that we both can do together as a family. And it's very enjoyable too. Also being around the other mothers that have children and they're single is also a positive, motivation to me, seeing other people that are in the same situations as me. It gives me something to do instead of just, putting my son in front of a television. And I was told, because I go to school, that kids that watch television are less likely to not be able to talk like other kids who don't watch as much television. And I believe keeping these programs around children will actually benefit from it in a very positive way. So I would really appreciate if you guys think twice about cutting the program. Thank you.
Thank you. You did a great job. Thanks.
Okay, hello, my name is Kia. I'm from San Francisco, but I reside in Richmond, California. I've been out there for 3 years now. I've been dealing with First Five Center for like 2 years. The program have really helped me. I have came from a long way through by the First Five. They helped me and my family. My older son is with my mom, but they helped me get back close with my mom, my son. So I'm just asking for you guys to just keep this program alive. That's what I'm asking for, just to please keep our program alive, because women like me, and there's a lot of us out there that's single, we need this program. This program is really helpful, and all I'm just saying is please keep it alive. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi,
Hi, good
my
evening.
name is Ilea. I'm 16 years old. I'm a high school student, and I have a 1-year-old son. The First Five program helped me with my son a lot. Because of my age, I can't get a job, and the First Five program supplied me with diapers, wipes, books, and toys that helps with my son's developmental skills. They gave me knowledge and helped me mature so I can take care of my son properly. I'm a kid raising a kid, and this program has helped me lighten the burden of teenage motherhood. So please don't cut the program. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, good evening.
Hello, my name is Carla Smith. I'm from Richmond, California. I started off actually as a volunteer for the First Five Center, and now I have a 1-year-old son. So I'm actually taking classes from First Five and also a member of the Hand-to-Hand Collaborative, which is funded by First Five. Both programs actually helped me because I didn't realize how much a child has to know before they're into kindergarten. So when I saw it, I was amazed, and I had no idea how was I going to get my child prepared for that, because right now I'm unemployed right now, so I don't have the money for a proper daycare or anything, but I still want to make sure that my son is able to receive the kind of I'm sorry, nervous. I'm so nervous that he's able to just basically be able to be taught everything that he needs to develop into oh my gosh. So he's able to, I'm sorry. Okay. So he's able to become successful. First Five, I've seen the kids, how they learn and how they absorb it and how happy they are when they learn new things. And it's amazing to me how my son, when he gets older also, he's gonna have that same experience. And without this program, I wouldn't be able to do it. I don't have the money for, like I said, a good daycare. And since I'm not working right now, I'm taking care of him myself. And I don't want him to be babysitted by TV. I want to be able to sit down and teach him what he needs to know so he is prepared, because I don't want my son to become a statistic. And basically, in the situation that I am in, that's what everybody thinks that he'll be. So if you cut this program, and there's a lot of other mothers that I've met through this program that are in the same situation. And we don't want our children to be statistics. We want them to be able to flourish and to be whatever they want to be. So please, I ask, do not redirect these funds. Keep them with First Five, because they really do help.
Right. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Pretty soon it's going to be good night, right?
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Celia Ayala. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Los Angeles Universal Preschool, better known in LA as LA Up. We are primarily funded through First Five Los Angeles, but also through First Five California, being one of the 9 counties that has a Power Up preschool. Let me just share that this is my 35th year as an educator. I have been a high school teacher, a 3rd grade teacher, a kindergarten teacher. I've been a school principal. And I know what it is when children come into kinder not ready. So I'm not going to give you all that research, because I know you've heard a lot of that. But had I known what I know now when I had my children that were 0 to 5, my kids would be geniuses. Because I truly believe that the effort in terms of what you need to do is to revisit why Prop 10. Why did it come about, and what is the purpose? And the reason why is we were not doing enough to promote services to children and families and communities on 0 to 5. And they were going into systems with all these issues or concerns, and they were not being addressed. So the voters voted to invest dollars that are tax dollars, a sin tax, to do something about it. So they were creative about how it was funded. So the creativity about how it was funded and it was voted in, but that you revisit the yielded outcomes that it already has. You have a statewide system that has flourished in terms of providing services to children, families, and communities. It is further positioning California through First Five California, and other efforts by the State Department to leverage federal dollars in terms of possibility to early challenge grants. We need every dollar we can get. If this goes away, so does the opportunity to bring in additional dollars. We are really given the opportunity to make a difference in health, in safety, and early care and education. We've been doing that for over 10 years. Don't take the infrastructure that's already been built and is really moving faster every day. We serve over 10,000 in our quality preschool programs every year. That's just a little piece of of First Five LA. I encourage you to revisit, to rethink, and do not think years later, could have, should have, would have. Keep the program as is and moving forward. Thank you very much.
Hi, good evening. My name is Carlene Falco, and I'm a single working mom of a 4-year-old boy named Gabriel. And he is enrolled in the Healthy Kids 0 to 5 program in Los Angeles, which is funded by First Five LA. I have taken off from work today and arranged for childcare so I could be here with all of you and share with you how important this program is to me and my son. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you from my heart, and I hope that what I have to say will be helpful to you in your decision making. I am very, very grateful to have this program, as without it, I would not be able to afford health insurance for my son. My employer does offer dependent coverage, but if I add Gabriel, it would go from $25 to $425 a month, and there's just no way that I can afford that. With Healthy Kids, I pay just $6 a month, and then I pay co-payments of $5 for prescriptions. And he has a doctor who knows him. We have an urgent care center nearby that accepts Healthy Kids. And with a growing active boy, we've had to use it a few times. It's great to have that access and not have to sit in an overcrowded emergency room in Los Angeles just for something like an ear infection. So very appreciative for that. Healthy Kids is comprehensive, so Gabriel also has dental and vision, and even though he's only 4, he's already lost 5 teeth, so we've had to see the dentist a few times. He's pretty big for his age. He's 4.5 feet tall and weighs 78 pounds, and he's starting to play sports, and because of Healthy Kids, I don't have to worry about a sports injury that could bankrupt me and put my child's and my future in jeopardy. I can let him play and be a kid. We've been on the program since January 2008, and there was a period prior to that we did not have health insurance, and it was extremely scary. I was constantly worried. I found out about Healthy Kids from a friend and looked into it immediately. In Los Angeles, there are almost 4,000 children in Healthy Kids 0 to 5 funded by First Five LA, and another 22,797 children in Healthy Kids 6 to 18 supported by the Children's Health Initiative of Greater Los Angeles. Many of these parents are just like me, working families who cannot afford their employer's dependent health care coverage, or they just don't have it available.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to ask you to conclude, please.
Okay.
I know you came all the way from LA, and I apologize.
I know. You gotta
I'm sorry.
Give me like another second. Sorry. Healthy Kids keeps these children and their parents out of overcrowded emergency rooms, gives them a chance to grow up healthy, keeps their parents free from worry, which is extremely important so we can support our families. And it seems to me this is worth fighting for. If you would continue the fund, please. And obviously, you know I've traveled here all the way from Los Angeles.
I know.
So.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that. And thank you for all of
Thank
you.
you.
For all of you coming from around the state. It's wonderful and certainly very passionate feelings. So thank you.
Please keep the program intact. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, can I interrupt for a half second and say that my wife, who is an early childhood instructor at the community college, former preschool teacher, just texted me and said to cheer all of you on and thank you for being here.
Yeah. I know.
So it's I know that comes under the category a little bit like, hi, Mom, you know. Hi, Cindy. But But anyway, she asked me to say that to you, so I just said it.
Mr. Chairman, if we're going to talk about our wives, my wife's been here for 5.5 hours in the back of the room.
There she. All right, moving on.
You could have watched it on TV.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Hello, my name is Lisa Velasquez, and at the time, I was a single mother of 6 children and a grandmother of 3 grandkids, and I was dependent on welfare. I am a former participant of the Cariño Partnerships for Families at Spirit Family Services located in El Monte, California. I completed the program in August 2007. 1 year ago, Spirit Family Services hired me as a full-time family advocate. Spirit is funded by First 5 LA as part of the Partnership for Families initiative. I enrolled in the Cariño PFF program after being referred by DCFS. DCFS came knocking on my door after my 5-year-old son, Christian, ended up in the hospital due to an accident. I'm reading fast because I want to make sure I say everything I have to say. The PFF program helped me identify that Christian had ADHD. He always had to have something in his hands and always had to have something in his mouth. One day while he was watching TV with a stick, he actually put the stick in his mouth and then ended up poking the back of his throat. This triggered that referral to DCFS. Although I knew that I am a good mother, I also knew I needed help. So the visit from DCFS was a blessing in disguise. The PFF agency helped me identify some goals that would help my family. I began to realize the needs of my children were more severe than I ever imagined. We began individual counseling, family counseling, parent bonding classes, communication classes, positive discipline classes, financial literacy, advocacy, and leadership classes. These trainings offered through the PFF initiative, which helped me realize what needed to be corrected in my life and my children's life. I now work for the PFF program because I believe in the program. And if you cut First 5 funding, my family would be back on welfare and we would probably end up homeless. I would become a burden to society again. I'm sorry. I don't want that to happen. I don't want to be a burden to anybody anymore. I would become a burden to society again, and other families would not have the same opportunity as I did. Every day I see the changes in families because of First 5 LA funds. I have been on both sides of the spectrum, and it is a blessing from God to see the family stay together and become stronger. I ask you to please open up your hearts and help us to keep families stay strong and provide the help that they need. Thank you for your time and the opportunity to make a difference.
Thank you very much for being here this evening. Good evening.
Good evening, Honorable Chair and committee members. I'm Carol Baker from First 5 LA. I know that the LAO said that these funds should be diverted to fund high priority programs that the state provides. I'm not saying that they don't provide high priority programs, but I think you've heard tonight that these are also high priority programs to these families. And these are meeting the needs of families that have no other places. They don't have the wherewithal or the resources to find those needs, to meet those needs anywhere else. Another thing that I wanted to correct, there is this assumption, actually it has been stated that the $242 million is 50% of First 5's revenue. That is not true. Our revenue, because of our declining revenue, in next year alone it would be 53%, and that would continue to rise. And our revenues are declining quickly. I know that our finance departments and our revenues at First 5 LA are off by about 7% right now. I just want to note that for the record, that it is not a 50% diversion. It is more than that, and it grows every year. In LA County, we serve roughly 160,000 pregnant women and children who, as Assemblyman Delatorre said, are in the dawn of their lives. And that does not include our early developmental and screening initiative, which serves about 478,000 additional kids. And those are so important to screen out these early developmental issues and autism so that these children can get help right away. These challenges can be mitigated, and it alleviates human suffering and certainly saves dollars down the road for public service. I also wanted to note that First 5 LA, we've drawn down in our county, in terms of federal dollars, $50 million currently. And that includes the ARA funds and school readiness dollars and MA funds. And finally, I just wanted to also mention that we serve about more than 70 organizations and school districts in LA County who serve kids with special needs, and that's more than 20,000 children right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming tonight, or today, actually. It's been a long day for you, I know, too. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is April Silas, and I'm the Executive Director of Homeless Children's Network. It's a nonprofit in San Francisco serving over 2,300 homeless children, the majority of whom are from birth to 5. And I was asked to speak today, and it's a humbling request to be asked to speak on behalf of children, most of whom are, as I mentioned, under 5, but even more so infants that cannot speak for themselves, parents that don't feel that they have the wherewithal to physically, financially be here, nor that they feel that their literacy background would give them the wherewithal to speak to you in any articulate way, to be asked to speak to folks that are literally at this point living under bridges, in shelters, and under doorways, etc., and plead on their behalf to maintain the consistency, the predictability, and the continuity of an infrastructure of services that no less than this, it has saved their lives. I have witnessed for now, over the last 10 years, I've been in the field of homeless, mental health services for homeless children for nearly 3 decades. I know you wouldn't know that by looking at me. That many of the families that come through our network literally say that they are interested and willing to, for the first time, face off the stigma of attaching themselves to services because of the First 5 approach. The infrastructure and the local control is key to reaching neighborhoods that have sworn off the system or any other aspect of support. Literally, children's lives are being lost in so many ways, and these families are now, for the very first time, certainly in my small and minimal career, do I see receiving not only services, but are turning their lives around in such a way that they are becoming the advocates for their own change. So I urge you to keep this in mind in your decision-making process. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kenya Flores. I come from Alameda County. Just want to share a brief of my story. When I was 17, I became pregnant. I didn't have no support from my mother or boyfriend during that time. And I found a great agency who provided home visits through case management. And during that few months, my life totally changed because I was able to receive these great programs that are funded through First 5. And the result is that in a few months, I will be getting my bachelor's degree. This wouldn't have been happened if it wasn't for a program like First 5. Who gives the opportunity to young parents like me to raise healthy, loving children and reassures the health, the development of the most important years of life. With these great programs, I learned how important is early childhood development, the importance of educating, nurturing, caring my child from prenatal to lifetime. Investing in early childhood helps strengthen the families and our communities, and also help us raise more confident young children for the future. Remember, First 5 is not just an investment on a car. It's an investment for a lifetime, and you're totally changing the life of a child and changing the life of young parents like me. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you so much for your generous listening and empathic attention. I'll be brief. I'd like to echo everything Kenya said as well. I'm from Oakland, and I just wanted to add one point, which is in my observation of the impact of the core services delivered by First 5 funded programs, their transition into kindergarten and the emphasis on kindergarten readiness and success once they hit the public school system is completely immense. And I see such a difference between children receiving those services early on and having not received those services. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mark Friedman from First 5 Alameda County, and I think the case has been made pretty strongly.
I think so too.
And judging, and I know that the case really didn't need to be made with the members of the committee that are here now, because I know you've all been really strong supporters of First 5 and the issues that First 5 addresses throughout your careers, and all of you have been members of Board of Supervisors also, so you understand the importance of delivering services on the ground at a local level. So my request to you is, the last time this was put on the ballot, I know you didn't really want to do it either, but the way the deal was negotiated with the governor and the Big Five, you felt you had no choice but to go along. I would like you to send a message, a strong message to the leadership now. Don't put First Five back in play. We don't want to bargain with the lives of the most vulnerable children in our state. We're more than happy to step up and help on a local level and help like we did with Healthy Families when we can negotiate and work together on behalf of young children. But don't use us as a bargaining chip. And I'm not saying any of you were responsible for that happening, but please, as soon and as often as you can, send the message to the leadership. This is a bad idea, which I know you've already expressed. So thank you so much for your support for young children.
Thank you for your comments.
Mr. Chair and members, Monica Miller representing Nurse Family Partnership, the County of Santa Barbara, and Jewish Family and Children's Services of San Mateo, Napa, Sonoma, and San Francisco, and LA. And we just encourage you to really, obviously, you know, you've seen the parents, you see the results, you see the direct impacts, and I know you do when you go home in the district as well. So really think about this. The voters have spoken multiple times. I think you know where they firmly stand, and so we really encourage you to look at other options. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica.
Good evening. I'm Karen Pekarsik. I'm the First Five Director from Calaveras County. But before I go in that direction, I'd like to talk to you as a mother of a child with special needs. When my daughter was born with Down syndrome, and then I had two typical children, I realized how vulnerable all children really are. And what I can tell you after many years of being an advocate for families and children with special needs is that I have never seen a family approach problem solving, and we've all had major financial issues in our families if we have children with special needs. That finances and protecting insurance and protecting our resources are critical. I've never met a family who has approached problem solving the first way out the door by creating and exacerbating other vulnerabilities in their other kids. We always look at trying to keep everybody as healthy and as well as possible. And the governor's proposal doesn't do that. That's what concerns me as a director of First Five. In our county, voters overwhelmingly have said 3 times Prop 10 is what they wanted to have in place. In our small population county, we're the resource that's filling the gaps that other fundings can't address. We're providing resources for therapeutic behavioral supports so kids don't start a spiral of failure by being expelled from preschool because of their behaviors. We're providing the only dental services to kids in our small county by having specially trained, registered hygienists who can do services in the chair. We funded an obesity nutrition initiative that was that resulted in national change through the WIC program. For the first time, WIC is now providing nationally a nutrition-based program, even before it became the First Lady's national initiative. What I would urge you to do is to listen to what the voters have already said. Look at what the local outcomes are. In small counties, the outcomes are very much directed to the very real needs and the localized issues. If Prop 10 changes, it'll affect children across the state, but it will absolutely devastate small counties. We will not be able to operate based on the changes that are proposed.
Thank you.
And that's not reasonable. So I urge you not to
Thank you very much.
change
Appreciate
Prop
it.
10.
Good evening. My name is Fabiola Gonzalez, and I'm here from Fresno County. I come from First Five Fresno, but also a mother of 2 little ones, a preschooler and a 1-year-old. But I'm here to tell you, I'm here from Fresno. You heard 2 parents before me. Fresno is a very rural county. We have families that are in isolated communities and isolated homes and trailer parks that don't have electricity, don't have heating units, and they get home visits, and they're concerned about their children starting kindergarten the right way and having the services that they need. And I want you to consider the fact that all these parents have come and now they're advocating for children that don't have a voice yet. So we're getting 16-year-olds and young parents that are here to testify on behalf of a program that's making a difference. And I know that it's a friendly crowd for you guys up there. You know that this works, but again, consider not revising anything, and just keep in mind all the families that count on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and members, Tim Fitzharris for the Child Development Policy Institute, the Child Development Administrators Association, and the Professional Association for Early Education. I was originally just going to come up and do 3 Me Too's, but I've been taking notes for this last 2 hours, and I hear budget words that we all the time say around here: redirection, revenue shift, funds transfer, funds diversion. The people, when they passed Prop 10, were very clear that they wanted more services and more children served. And they put that in the statute by a non-supplantation language. And that means we don't do these shifts. And maybe that's a proposal in a new ballot proposal. But that is very clear in your statute on Prop 10, non-supplantation. So we ask that you respect that. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Jim Provenza, Yolo County Supervisor. Our Board of Supervisors is opposed to this budget proposal and is very supportive of First Five. First Five in Yolo County is really a shining light in its delivery of services to young children. It is chaired, the commission is chaired by former Assemblywoman Helen Thompson, who is also the chair of our Board of Supervisors. It is able to help us in many ways. I'm going to give you 3 examples. When TANF funds were available to fight homelessness, you needed some money to leverage those funds. First Five came up with $200,000, which leveraged $800,000 for our county that went to direct services to help prevent homelessness. We didn't have that money. We're barely able to provide mandated services, and I'm not sure going into the coming year if we can even do that. But First Five was able to do that and bring that homeless assistance money into our county, preventing the human suffering and the financial costs that would have occurred if the individuals they helped had become homeless. A second example, our First Five funded the health department, not the health department directly, but a health department effort to provide assistance to pregnant women and young mothers in their homes, to send nurses to the homes. That was $120,000 to do that, something that would not have occurred otherwise. One case of a premature birth could result it can and does result in a cost much higher than that. But we're able to avoid that cost because we have First Five active and very effectively targeting services in our county. The third example is providing money for a comprehensive insurance program for children ages 0 to 5. That also helped us leverage funds, so we were able to provide those insurance services in Yolo County for all children, so that the children in Yolo County all have insurance. That would not have happened without First Five. They are also able to fund nonprofits, and nonprofits in Yolo County work hand in hand with county government to provide services efficiently and effectively. This is a cut. Obviously, you've heard about the human costs, but it is one that would be very costly in terms of overall future medium-term and long-term effect on the county and ultimately the state budget. I urge you not to follow this path.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman and members. My name is Antonia Lopez. I'm the Director of Early Care and Education for the National Council of La Raza. We're the largest Hispanic advocacy organization in the United States. We have over 300 affiliates throughout the country in 41 states, including and Puerto Rico and the District of Columbia. In California, we have 54 member organizations from the Bay Area to the Central Valley to the far south, San Diego County, Los Angeles County, the coast. So our members are spread throughout the state here in California. While NCLR has not taken a position on the governor's proposal to redirect the funding, we acknowledge the important initiatives that State First Five and the county commissions have undertaken to serve the needs of families throughout the region. You've heard today the diverse approaches that have been taken, the ways that families have been served, the ways that lives have been changed. We would like to urge you to look at the services that have been delivered to Latinos to ensure that there is the type of equity of resources and the equity of services in culturally and linguistically competent ways, so that all of California's children can be served in the fashion that this initiative was initially proposed. We know that there are 334,609 families who are linguistically isolated. A study by First Five Commission on the Hard to Serve Populations identified 27 languages. The largest of those, of course, are Spanish speaking. 82%, 275,723 of the children under the age of 5 are Latinos. One out of every 5 children, one out of every 2 children born in California every day has a Latino parents. These are citizen children. They're born here. We have an obligation to provide them and their families with the kind of resources that all children in California have through when a language and culture is not an issue. We know that there are models of appropriate service that have been piloted throughout the state. We urge that during this time when we're examining how to reach the most needy, how to make sure that equitable services are distributed to underserved areas, that we examine how Latinos and other linguistic isolated families are served. The NCLR, the National Council of La Raza, and its member affiliates in California will be proposing our recommendations and submitting to the committee. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Artesia. I'm in a program funded by First Five. It's called Hand to Hand. I think that it should stay because it's for mothers that feel like all hope is lost, and they support you. They're there. They let you know that that you can do this. You could make it through pregnancy and everything. And it's just for young mothers. I mean, we need it. It's very much needed. You see other mothers that are so much like you in the same situations as you're in, as they were saying, and it's just something that's just needed. Your children grow up healthy. Just thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Hi, I'm Gwendolyn Hudson from Richmond, California. I'm with the Hands in Hand program, which is with the First Five program. I haven't been in it a long time, but the time I've been in it, it has helped me a lot. Me and my kids, it has helped me bond with my children, and they help me a lot with a lot of things like transportation and different things that some mothers need when they don't have. And I think you just need to keep the funding going for it because it is a good program for young mothers and their children. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members. Khadija Alo on behalf of the Advancement Project. And just for the record, I want to state our opposition to this budget proposal. And I want to add that First Five California has been fiscally responsible by keeping a reserve. And now the administration is trying to penalize First Five California for being fiscally responsible. It just doesn't make any sense. And the voters approved Prop 10 for early childhood education development programs. So every child in California has equal access to learn and succeed in life. I hope you keep it that way. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is May Saipan. I work with Hand in Hand Home Visitor. I work with the Southeast Asian community. Most of them are English is second language. Our Western culture of upbringing is foreign to them, so a lot of them don't know about what child abuse is. So a lot of the moms that do come over are in the CFS case. With this, it's just slight misunderstanding what CFS wants and what they're brought up with. With First Five, they're brought to the centers, and with these centers, they're able to hug their children and say it's okay. In our culture, hugging your children is like, a no-no. It's just really hard, and with that, CFS thinks that they're distancing themselves away from their kids, but then the only time you hug your kid is when they get hurt. But even though they get hurt, you yell at your kid for getting hurt. This is how Southeast Asian parents were brought up, and this is how they're rearing their children. And with that, there's a cultural gap, and with the cultural gap, it's making it very hard for our Southeast Asian moms to really fit in. And by cutting First Five fundings, it's just like pick on somebody your own size. Don't steal the candy from the kids. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Kevin McCarty, Preschool California. We are also opposed to this proposal. It's all been said. Just a couple points we haven't really focused on. We're a preschool organization. We know that 20,000 kids are served every year because of these funds. But in addition, the workforce that works at the preschools and the child care centers have a tremendous educational opportunity because of 80,000 teachers and instructors every year get additional training to become better, advocates in there and make sure our kids are, focusing on a quality early learning environment. And then lastly, First Five, as you may know, right now is focusing on a plan that's really going to zero in on being competitive for federal funds coming down the pike with this Early Learning Challenge grant. So this really is a step backwards from our efforts to really draw down federal funds. So we think it's a unimaginative proposal.
Thank you, Kevin. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for being here and sticking with us. My name's Janina Perez with Children Now. We, of course, applaud all the work that's happening at the local level, but also wanted to just put the plug in that the State First Five Commission has done a number of good things, providing matching funds for a number of these programs, and also working with the legislature and the governor last year to keep healthy families afloat, and trying to work this year to see what they can do to help. Once again, we hope that you will consider that, partner with them again, and keep it up. Thank you for all your work.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you so much for the work you're doing on behalf of all of us here in the state, and staff too, and we appreciate it very much. I'm Bruce Hinman. I'm the CEO at Easter Seals, Central California. We provide services for young children across a 10-county area from Santa Cruz and Monterey County on the coast out through Fresno and then on down to Bakersfield. And we have received First Five funding from 3 different commissions for a very effective and practically effective and cost-effective autism program that we provide. And the results have been just outstanding. First Five funding is very flexible at the local level. It's been specifically wanted as expressed by voters and is focused on outcomes. So from the standpoint of a provider of services, I'm here to attest that First Five funding is proven effective and is producing measurable results that have far-reaching and long-term impact on the quality of life and that actually create cost savings throughout the state. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Brenda Stokes Eubanks. I'm a differential response case manager for Neighborhood House of North Richmond. I also work with my supervisor who's hand-to-hand, and I am standing today in support of hand-to-hand. I also have a daughter who came up ahead of me who's a part of the hand-to-hand program. She suffered postpartum depression with the other children, but her hand-to-hand person was there so closely till she didn't have the opportunity to even go through that process. And also looking at the people that I deal with are people that are coming out of CPS's system. They're not, they haven't had enough to be the children to be removed, but they are in need of resources to help them keep the children in the home, and that's what I do. And part of what I do helps me to work with hand-to-hand, because First Five, I'm sorry, because I refer a lot of my clients to them, and I've seen it bring people out of depression and get back into society and get back into jobs, and bring families together. So it's a needed service, and we all know that. So please consider.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Assembly. My name is Odessa Caton, and I'm here from Contra Costa County, representing two First Five funded programs, the Hand to Hand Collaborative and the Welcome Home Baby Program. And First Five funds a number of home visitation early intervention programs in our county. Hand to Hand is one of them. Welcome Home Baby is another. There is a medically fragile infants program that serves pregnant moms with that are at risk. And in addition to these home visitation programs, the Hand to Hand Collaborative is something that is really unique and remarkable. And First Five collaborated with four community-based organizations to come up with a home visitation program to target at-risk, difficult to engage families in specific zip code areas in the Richmond and San Pablo areas. And we have a number, as you guys have heard, of our moms with us today. These areas are violence-ridden, and parents tend to be very isolated within these communities, and so this home visitation program has really engaged in community outreach and has brought services into homes that otherwise haven't had access to these types of services. And I won't go on and on because I know that we're running late, but I feel very honored that I've had a group of mothers come with me today to speak to you, and I believe that their ability to testify and share their stories evinces the outcomes of these types of home visitation programs. So thank you so much.
And the final word.
My name's Kathleen Sullivan, and I'm going to honor your request to say that I ditto. I'm going to say a little bit more than that.
I
You're going
thought
to get
you
mad.
would. You wouldn't have been standing there that long just to do a ditto.
Ditto everything that's been said. I'm the president of the Human Rights Commission for the City of Richmond, but I wear another hat. I am one of the home visitors with a First Five funded program, and I just want to say that in sitting in that role of dealing with the rights and the privileges and what are considered human rights for our families, that I believe that these moms having access to services like the First Center provides are absolutely essential. The unique pilot and project that First Five funded for Richmond was to reach in and get moms that normally would not access and reach for services at all, and that have children that in the city of Richmond are the most vulnerable and the most at risk. We have brought those moms to Sacramento for the first time to testify at a hearing, and none of them have ever been here before. And I'm just saying that the opportunities that we want to give to moms to show them what they can do to become leaders in their community and show that to their children, these are the kind of unique projects that First Five gave us the opportunity to be able to do. And I'm asking you to leave us with that flexibility of the money. You've got to show these young people that the power of the vote means something. We told them what it is that happened. We told them that this was a vote and that people had decided this is how they wanted money to be spent. So we'd like to see you honor that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Didn't you speak a little while ago?
I have something to say about that picture on the wall. Who is that picture on the wall?
Jesse Unruh?
Yeah.
That one?
Who is that?
Former Speaker of the Assembly.
So I would assume that he's really important, right?
Well, not anymore.
Not anymore? Is he dead?
He passed away.
Oh, I just wanted the picture to be straight because
Is
it's
it
been bugging
crooked?
me all
Oh,
day.
We'll work on that before tomorrow. Thank you very much. All right, we'll bring it back to the committee. Mr. Chesbrough, Mr. Bell?
I think the only thing I'm interested in is I'd like to see more of a breakdown between the local commission and the statewide commission on how, do you have the information on that? Well, you can,
The dollar
that's,
breakdown?
yeah, how that breaks down.
I think it's in the...
And what they generally use the money for.
It's very difficult to give you information relative to what's at the local level. The state doesn't have information relative to county by county breakout. We would not be able to provide that detail to you.
How about the statewide commission, how they spend money?
For the statewide commission, the most recent information we have from them is from their 2008-9 annual report. So we can forward a copy of that to your staff, which outlines their activities, as well as, I believe, where they've spent their money and who they've served. And we also know their fund balance as of the end of June 2009 was about $328 million. But again, with those funds, I believe some of those funds are committed to multi-year commitments, but we'll get your staff the information.
Then the other question I have is, a lot of people talked about leveraging federal funds. I'd like to have more information about that, about what kind of programs can be leveraged in the federal budget using First Five funds, because I think that's really important. That's a very good point that people made.
We can check. We can work with the local commissions and the state commission to try to get that info for you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chesbrough.
Yeah, well, first of all, Mr. Chairman, I want to congratulate you on your patience and compassion in conducting a long but very important hearing, giving all these people the opportunity to speak. And then, and you also, the way you opened with the question, which crystallized my concerns very well, why? But I want to drill down a little bit, and I'll be very brief, obviously, it's very late, but just to go back and look at what happened last year, where one approach was taken and it failed, and then another approach was taken and some collaboration resulted in some agreement that trying to do what was possible to hang on to the healthy family enrollment that we already had was agreed to. So that was a collaborative approach which respected what the voters had done by way of the First Five structure and the process that was in place. Has any consideration been given by the administration or I'll ask the finance first and then I'll ask the LAO relative to their analysis at taking a different approach that doesn't just try once again to reverse, get the voters to reverse themselves, but rather tries to sit down with, respects the structure and says to the people who are in that structure throughout the state, at the state level and locally, are there priorities that are at risk here that First Five could help to fund, but not a unilateral decision?
There have been discussions between the administration on numerous issues relative to requests for additional funding. Relative to the dollars that we're requesting at this point from a shift perspective, I'm not aware of specific discussions that have occurred relative to those.
Has that been part of the LAO's analysis at all?
I would say for our analysis, we specifically looked at the governor's proposal and felt that it was reasonable to ask the voters to reconsider temporarily prioritizing some Proposition 10 funds, but we can also look into other options.
Okay.
I think my questions were geared towards similar thoughts, that if there's a way of working collaboratively with the state commission to leverage more federal funds, especially because, you know, we're in a new administration in Washington. There's new programs, opportunities, new opportunities, and I think we ought to look at those. And you know, I having been a county supervisor, as both of you have, we all kind of assume that everybody knows this, but sometimes I'm aware that they don't know this. But you know, there's no better investment if you want to do prevention than putting money into 0 to 5 kids. I mean, you could save a lot of money in the long term with the health and the well-being of the community by putting money into early programs. And there's I don't know of any early program that has not been proven by research, by studies, in any other way, that it is the most cost-effective public investment you can make to focus on that. And so, like, the whole idea of the First Five Commission was to do that. But then, how do we get more money for those programs in terms of the context of the new federal opportunities that exist here? And what kind of things can the state do to collaborate with the first 5, maybe putting up state money or working with the local and state to collaborate to get more money for some of these sorely needed programs, because they all work. You know, everybody has a stack of studies to show that they all work. I mean, we all know that because we spend our lives working on that at the local level.
And the return's usually about 7 to 1.
Yeah, it's a huge return.
Save $7 for every dollar you spend.
Huge return on the investment. I mean, it's
Did you
a great
have a comment,
return.
sir?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair and members. The administration will welcome further discussions with the commissions relative to additional dollars that may be leveraged from the feds or additional dollars that they want to offer up. Again, we welcome discussions with the commissions as to leveraging any dollars that are available.
We will look at that. Further comments? See none. Thank you all again for coming. I mean, you came from all over the state, and it was much appreciated. I apologize again for cutting you off at that 2 minutes. Thank you, and thank you to the LAO's office, to the administration, finance. Thank you very much. Long day. Meeting's adjourned.